I have been in a business since last 9 years, and each year has taught me a lesson. I will just take you through my journey and I will share my experiences and hope that by the end of the day, we would have shared something, and whatever my journey is, possibly if it adds even 10% to your entrepreneurial journey, that would be a good learning, right? So let me tell you an interesting story. What do you see out there? There's a term called stud. And trust me, I don't look like a stud. Let me give you some background of mine. I come from a city called Ranchi, which has become famous because of one flamboyant cricketer that we had, and that's the only cricketer that we have produced ever. I am half Bengali. My mom is a Bengali, dad is a Rajput. I am a Bihari by birth. I was born in Patna, brought up in Ranchi. So in 1998, I landed up in Mumbai to do my hotel management. And as it would happen, people in my side of India has a very heavy dialect, and I had a very heavy dialect. You can imagine Ranbir Kapoor of Rockstar before he became a rockstar. I was that person. So the first day when I walked into the college, my seniors during the course of ragging said, "Hey stud, idhar aa." And I found it on dictionary that stud actually was the thoroughbred horse, the stallion, the best stallion in the breed. I said, this is not what is going to stick with me. But I like the word stud. And as I started searching, and those were the days when Google was still not prominent. We had Ask Jeeves, Alta Vista, and Google was still coming up. So I was not flamboyant. So I gave it my own acronym. Small Town Urban Dreamer. And that's why you see that word stud. But this is when I landed in Mumbai, which was like 22 years ago. I started my entrepreneurial journey in year 2011, 1st April 2011. Half my family thought April Fool bana raha unka. So, and I did all the possible mistakes that you can do while starting a business. We didn't have a shareholder agreement in place. We didn't have money in place. We didn't even have a proper office location in place. So we started from this place called Vyapar Bhavan. At the basement, we had 300 square feet space where we got some stuff to start off. The only thing that I was sure of at that point of time was that I had to take a bet on myself. As an entrepreneur, I think it is the first lesson that all of us have learned, and that's why possibly all of us are here, is that we have taken a bet on ourselves. When the entire world has said don't ever go and do that, we have taken a bet. So 90% of the people out there today must be talking about coronavirus, working from home, and we are thinking, where will that next penny coming from? Right? But a lot of wonderful things happen when you take a bet on yourself. For 6 months, we didn't have a business. What you see out there is our first checkbook that we got as a payment, which was of 55,000. And the first project that we made money was this. This was a small cafe launch of a movie called I Am. This was the first foray of Bollywood in LGBTQ subject. And we made a princely sum of 5,000 rupees. I know, till date, this is on a history wall of our office. We have gone into multiple offices, but this has always remains constant. 2011, as I said, we started our operation from a basement. very small space. We didn't had money, so I pulled up a laptop from my wife, somebody got a stationery from their home, we got a printer from home, and we started shop. No money. From 2011, by the end of a year, for first 6 months we didn't had a business, as I said. That was the first business, first check you saw. After almost 7-8 months, we had hardly any money. And when you don't have a money, everybody knocks at your door. So our phone connection was cut off. We had almost for a week, we didn't had electricity in our office. So the first business that we got was from a large MNC where we kept on haggling. They had multiple MNCs, agencies working with them, and finally we had to walk out saying, this is the price of this service. We are ready to work without PO. But if you like our service, this is the amount that is the rightful amount. We walked out. That MNCs ended up giving us a business worth 70 lakh in first year. By the end of the year, we were working with 50 plus brands. And our turnover in the first year was around 5 crore, which was almost like riches once you start off. But the science says life will always test you. And it keeps testing you at every juncture. When life tests you, you have to fight back. We saw days when we didn't had electricity. The first large project that we got, after the first large project, we celebrated with pizza and coke. But as we started working on, the entire office building caught fire. The entire office was sealed. So we had to move our entire operations to my in-laws' place. For almost, and it was pro bono. They didn't charge me anything, but for a month we worked out of from their flat. The easiest thing is when you are starting off, there would be a lot of hardship, and what we generally feel is we need to get up. Why are we doing this? Because we each has qualification, we have experiences to go back to a cushy job. So my second lesson was, when life tests you, you have to give it a bloody fight. We kept on doing whatever we wanted to do. It was not that we had a foolproof plan. I said we didn't had shareholder agreement in place. Forget having a business plan. Every B school teaches you to have a business plan and then get into a work, right? It's a good thing to have, but doesn't matter if you don't have a business plan. If customer wanted us to do something, we just went ahead and did it. And what came out was an integrated approach. Somebody said make a poster, somebody said make a cafe launch, somebody said do activation, somebody said can you manage our loyalty programs? And at every juncture, first we said yes, came back and said let's figure out how to do it. You know, I'm lucky that I am here today. The kind of energy that went around after every name, it scared me a little. But more often than not, I felt everybody was invited in this room. Everybody was special in this room. Entrepreneur journey is very lonely. And if you are a first generation entrepreneur who is not coming from a very Ivy League B school, trust me, you don't even have the right kind of pedigree. You are a scavenger in the crowd of thoroughbreds. And the best thing that I realized was when I didn't knew anything, I had to find a mentor. The first mentor I got was Subroto Da. So for uninitiated, Mr. Subroto Bagchi was founder gardener of Mindtree, and I loved his book called High Performance Entrepreneur. And out of the blue, I just wrote to him, hey, I've just started this business. I loved your book. Would you mentor me? And he readily agreed. But when you are starting off, you don't have money. And our biggest challenge was Subrata was based out of Bangalore and I was based out of Bombay. After 2 trips, I realized I cannot make those trips. And that's when I was referred to another great gentleman, Mr. Harsh Mariwala. Mr. Harsh Mariwala was starting an initiative called Ascent Foundation, where he was actually planning to actually give the right kind of ecosystem to growth-ready entrepreneurs. And I became a party to it. In 3 Idiots, there was a dialogue which said, "Gyan bat raha hai to pakad lo." That's what mentor does to you. Possibly they kind of addresses the pitfalls that we don't even know exist. And that was my lesson number 3. What happened eventually was we moved from that 300 square feet basement office to a much pleasant office in Kolaba, which was like 5,000 square feet, huge office. We invested a lot of money to make it. We worked with interior decorators, architects to make it happen, make it a happening place. We slowly started growing up. The team, which started with 5-6 people, eventually was making headway into around 440, 50, 60. We were growing in size. Geographically, we were expanding. So we were on all critical geographical markets, like our northern regional headquarters was in Delhi, which is right now in Gurgaon. We had southern headquarters, which was in Chennai. Bombay, we at that point of time had 1 office. And Bangalore, we were in a place called MG Road, Mahatma Gandhi Road, Mittal Towers. But we started growing. Eventually things started happening to us. And one of the most important criteria why things started happening to us was we always stick to our values. Till date, we don't work with a liquor brand and they pay you a hefty amount of money. We don't work with cigarette brands. And we will never work. And we have stood true to our value system, which is honesty, excellence, accountability, respect, and trust. When things get tough, we reach out to our team and say, hey, this is the scenario. In past, we had a brand who actually raised a PO which was double the amount that we actually would have billed them. We got back to them and say, hey, you have given us a double money, take it back. What happened was that brand grew year on year and they are still with us. So it is necessary first to identify what our value is. If our value is profitability, we can chase that. If we stand true to the values, we will cross all hurdles, and business is all about hurdles. Business is crossing one hurdle and reaching another milestone. And that was my lesson number 4. What happened when we started sticking to our values? We got a lot of referrals. We were a bit different than how the industry was operating, and one customer will talk about us at different geographies. We got spoken about in international market, we got spoken about at APAC market, and we started getting a lot of inbound queries. Things started happening. Next 2, 3, 4 years were of immense growth. We were looking at things and figuring out, if we cannot work with a cigarette brand, then what? If we cannot work with a liquor brand, then what? And we would find out different ways of doing things. I think as an entrepreneur, our biggest challenge is sales, right? How many of us in this room actually think biggest challenge is sales? Right? We were the shameless salesperson. I remember year 2018, our business was down. And we started mapping area after area. One fine day we sat across as a team and we said we will bombard each area, we'll map each area. We mapped Andheri, we mapped Bandra, and we would go into every office uninvited. 70% of the people would throw us out of the reception. But 30% of the people actually heard us. And through the year, first we mapped the entire city of Bombay, Thane and suburbs. Then we went to map South, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore. And we ended that year with 4,762 meetings, sales meetings. And the business grew by 80% in a single year, 2018. So as you hold to your values, you have to drive it like life force. You cannot change your values. If our value is accountability, we are accountable. If business is going to go down because of Corona, we have to figure out new things. So identify your values, stick to them, was my next lesson. And what happened was we got lucky just by sticking to the values. Some of us work solo, as I heard in this room. Some of us will be working. Those teams would be smaller just now. And it almost sounds cliched, but we need to hire people smarter than us and then get out of the way to let them do their bloody work. These were the bunch of first set of people who worked with us. Some of them have gone ahead to create new ventures, but we had a wonderful time. We still do. We have a flat hierarchy and open door policy, which means that nobody needs to take an appointment to knock at my door and come inside. We have a all hands meet which is called snack chat, where every idea is respected, and our best of the best cultures have come out of those ideas. We don't have a appreciation of that management will appreciate, the general manager will appreciate the managers and so on. There is something called as spot recognition, where a peer can recognize there is a budget given to them at the beginning of the year, every last person in the organization. And through the year, they can actually spot recognize their colleagues, both higher up, laterally and down below. What happens is when you start working with experts, smarter people, they shape the organization for you. Generally, we have always seen a CEO needs to walk ahead and then there would be people follow. Why can't we invert the entire pyramid? In my normal working day, when you come inside the office and nobody tells you, you would not know who is the director, who is of sales, who is the director of servicing, who is the director of operations. Because you cannot find, possibly the best dressed people in those offices would be people who are millennials, and that does not call for hierarchy, and the best idea comes out of it. My lesson number 6 that I learned was you need to keep shifting your paradigm. We started as an event company and we grew on to become an experiential marketing company which was selling everything. We were selling digital webinars, we were selling virtual events, We were selling activation program. We were the first one in India who were actually selling B2B loyalty programs. So we would have customers like McAfee, customers like Siemens coming in and say, we want you to develop a loyalty program for our supply chain. We have sub-distributors, we have distributors. What can we do? And what we realized was, when we started, as I said, we are ordinary bunch of people. We didn't had shareholder agreement, we didn't had business plan. So the first thing we did, we made a vision statement which sounded nice. And trust me, till date I don't remember it. It sounded nice. We will work for the community, we will follow the law of the land, we will do this, we will do that. It was this huge statement. So one fine day we realized that it was all bullcrap. Sorry for using the language. We took out that plaque from the wall and threw it. My only statement that day to my team was, the vision should walk the corridor of the office. So what we started doing was, we changed the entire paradigm of what the vision should be. And we started working on a very short focused vision. If I can't see to Mercury, how will I reach Mercury? I would still reach Dadar, right? I would figure out different ways of reaching Dadar. So let's first figure out how to reach Dadar, and then we will figure out how to reach possibly Gujarat and then Delhi, so on and so forth. So we started doing a very short focused 3 years vision, and on each of this vision we had annual goals. We took things and started putting it into small bite-sized pieces. And trust me, from that day onwards, we have always achieved our goal and we have always achieved our vision. This was our vision 2023 years back. We were very simple. We are chasing only 4 things. We were very clear that we would be one of the most respected experiential marketing companies in terms of people practices, customer excellence and revenues. As entrepreneurs, we all love money, right? Except for somebody who is out there who is on a charitable organization. Most of us are into actually profitable business. So we said these are the 4 things that we would chase. And we continue to grow at almost like 50-55% at a growth rate, when the industry was growing at a 30% growth rate. Lesson very clear. Shift the paradigm. And trust me, I can read this, not only me. You can ask anybody in my office what is the vision, they will tell you. They may not read it verbatim, doesn't matter. We are not into a rhyming competition, but they will tell you we are chasing 4 things: people practices, custom excellence, revenue, and we need to be one of the most respected organization in our field in India. Next lesson number 7. Think long term, prepare for short term, act in a short term. The path to entrepreneurship would be strewn with different uncertainties, right? Nobody knew Corona will come, right? Till 2 months back, we were all happy. Possibly we would have also a lot of us would have made a plan to go on a vacation with our kids, people who have kids or even don't have kids. These are the time, right? I think we would almost be at the end of our financial thing. We would have been working with our CAs, our CFOs, our financial advisors, so on and so forth. In comes a pandemic and business parlance changes. So what do you do? As I said, we started looking at things into a shorter perspective. We are already selling, so we are into experiential marketing business. We do a larger conventions, we do a larger MICE initiative. We take 500 people to Lisbon. No flights are taking off, right? There is a quarantine, you cannot travel. We already started working with most of our customers and people who are not even our customers to start doing virtual events, start doing webinars, things which were possibly 10 years old. Nobody wants to attend a webinar. We want to have a face-to-face interaction. But in this time, when the paradigm has shifted again, you need to start acting in a short term. So while entrepreneurship is about running a marathon, it is more like a decathlon where courses would change. Somewhere you have to swim, somewhere you have to cycle, somewhere you have to do something else. So this is NeoNiche by the numbers. We are 9 years old. We are a group of companies, so NeoNiche has 4 sister concerns. Overall, NeoNiche is close to around 100 crore turnover company, and last 2 years we have done more than 3,000 activation days. We had 475 brands. Currently we are working with close to around 490 brands. Most of them are Fortune 500 brands. In last 2 years, NeoNiche would have won close to around 30 plus award at both national and international platforms. Close to around 200 team members. If I also include full-time consultants and professionals that are working with us. Offices across 4 locations. In Bombay, we have 3 offices. So we have in totality 7 offices. We have tied up, we have collaboration, we have strategic tie-ups all across globe. That's NeoNiche by the number for the last 2 years. I love the energy of this room. This is the support group, right? This is a tribe. Entrepreneur Social is a tribe. While each one of us is doing a different business, we are connected with each other. We can share things only 2 entrepreneurs can share with themselves. So you always need to have your tribe in place, your support system, your family, your friends, your entrepreneur buddies who can work like your extended board of directors. And trust me, whether your organization is of 2 people or of 200 people or 2,000 people, it is an organization in a microcosm, which means that you would require a board of advisors and board of directors. What has always helped me is to have a right kind of support and advisories in place. Figure out your tribe. Because when the chips are down, when in a days like this is what comes handy. As entrepreneurs, we start becoming too serious about ourselves. We talk about big data, we talk about machine learning, everybody is talking, we need to talk about benchmarks, we need to talk about competition analysis, SWOT analysis, this and that. Where the next business is going to come from. What I have learned after lot of failures in myself is we need to take life easy. In 2015, I was diagnosed with severe bronchial asthma. I would be taking pumps 3 times a day. I was a chain smoker. And one fine day when I quit, I got bronchial asthma. That day business was not the most important thing in life. In 2017, my wife got brain hemorrhage. For 15 days she was in ICU, and after that she was in rehabilitation for almost 2 months. 24-hour nursing care at home. I have twin sons who were close to around 3.5 years at that point of time. At that point of time, business was not the most important thing in my life. So we need to take life easy. Lot of time we don't put too much of emphasis on caring for ourselves. we need to unwind and rewind. Those episodes have taught me today I am a very active yoga follower. I do yoga meditation every day. I read close to around 4 to 5 books at a time. I take at least 3 vacations in a year. And it doesn't matter whether I am going for a vacation in South London or South Mumbai. Whether I am taking 1 day camping trip to Karjat or I am going to Kuala Lumpur. It doesn't matter. You need to take a break and do a sort of self-love time. A time which is dedicated to yourself. So here I am, an ordinary person, possibly the most ordinary in the room, the stud who doesn't look like a stud, an average Joe who was lucky enough to get the right kind of people and possibly do all the right kind of thing in the right nick of time to create whatever little bit of success that I have created. So I thought today is a day when I would actually come and share my learnings. No gyan.